gonna try to come on here and make this live stream with Streamlabs like I did another one. But oh well, whatever. So I don't know what it's called. I think it's called misconnections or something like that. I'm sure some of y'all more technical or what do you call that thing? Something savvy, like lingo savvy. I don't know, but you would know more what that exactly is called. I was sitting here trying to figure it out, but I did like a lot of just venting. Where it really wasn't venting because I wasn't upset about anything, but reminiscing nostalgia as well as just kind of like chatting to myself a little bit. Your girl wasn't angry or nothing, y'all, but I just was thinking about just so much going on in this world. And overall, I was talking about how lately it's been a trend for people to want to get out this country. A lot of people you hear are, or see traveling, like for not just for a few days, like trying to really go and scope out how other countries are because they want to move. And I know when I first started feeling that way, it was like way before the amount of people that are like that now. Like it was way before then. Let me get my charger. It's like now it's a whole bunch of people that feel that way. Oh, I still got juice on this. So I'm gonna come back and I'm probably gonna do a video on some stuff that just ain't for the internet. Uh, Obviously, a lot of us know that we don't really all have privacy. A lot of us deal with not having privacy and stuff like that. So I ain't really too much stressing that like I used to. Because I just, I give faith to the Most High God to be able to deal with people that purposely go out of their way to take away my privacy and stuff, or to just intrude on my privacy, should I say? But y'all, everything ain't for the internet. So as far as some stuff that I was talking about, I'm not going to make a video about that, okay? But I am glad that I feel like I did a service to humanity to just educate people on it, to speak, to put it out there in the universe for people to know that it exists, okay? Um, but one of those things was like the rise of STDs and how, you would think it would make people kind of get scared a little bit. Like, I don't care what I have to go through pretty much without, however, if you somebody that was in the SMEX industry, you changing your mind about that and being like, I don't care what I have to go through or what I have to do, work 2, 3 jobs, whatever, work a job I don't want. I'm not gonna risk, contracting something that could take me out for money, right? I'm not gonna risk that. And it's not. It's like more people that are just, I don't know, moving even more foolish. And so it just kind of has got me earlier this morning when I seen some stuff that was online about a woman that has been like really battling that, if you know what I mean. Um, oh my God, like this used to be something that everybody feared at one point that I can, as far as I can remember back. And it's like people should still fear that. Like, and I feel like one of the main agendas that the evil dark rulers, the archons of this country, I feel like one of the main tactics that they had to kind of keep it spreading and make it normalized was by them saying stuff like, it's not an epidemic anymore and it's not a life sentence anymore, so that people that would get that would not take it serious and be like, I didn't even want to end up with this, but I did what I did. I'm going to, stay out the way. I'm going to deal with the consequences. But I don't want to give this to somebody else. This is serious. It's like I feel like they did that to one, have people feeling that way, well, not feeling that way, and then another thing for people that would get it or that will put themselves in risky situations. Feel like, well, if I get it, it's no big deal because they're saying it's not a life sentence anymore. They're saying it's not an epidemic anymore. All of that was BS. For one, you should always go with what you feel. Your own intuition, okay? Your higher self. You don't just take anything that other people are saying any fucking way. So that's where a lot of people fucked up. And when I tell y'all I smell so good, this perfume that I have, it's not an expensive. I'm sorry, y'all. This is like, it was random, like, but it's like, how you find you a smell that's not, like, it's soft and it smells good, whether it's like a cologne or a perfume. but it has a scent of something else that you like. What is one spray? I don't know the name of it. It's obviously like a body spray. It's not more like a perfume type of scent because perfume are more like oil based, and this is more like you could tell like water based or something. It's like a body mist, right? When I tell y'all, it smells like bubble bath. And I took a bubble bath last night, so I'm just smelling it like it's just it's a little hot in here because it's summertime and we don't just have the AC just blasting like that, because we got popsicles and stuff. It be cold now, but that's like our AC. It's like either real fucking cold, like the movie theaters, or it's hot. Like I can't never get it to just come on and off regularly to where it just stays cool. I don't know. But anyway, y'all, even though I was, a little misty earlier, I just smelled the scent of that and I appreciated it. And it's really in my shirt. You know what I'm saying? And it's on me, but I took a nice little cute little bubble bath last night. I had a good night. Happy Friday, y'all. I also want to say that happy Friday, happy Friday. I really hope you guys are enjoying your Friday, your weekend. Your crazy girl is on here live right now. So yeah, y'all, but I just had to like really vent about this. Like, when did people start trying, and I believe that's when people started trying to normalize that shit. Like, oh, it ain't an epidemic no more, y'all. Yes, it is. It is still a life sentence. It is definitely still something that can end your life. It is still definitely something that people should be afraid of. They should not want their loved ones, their kids, even if you do have something like that, you should not want people you love and care about dealing with that. And like they say, y'all, you really only in control of yourself. So that's why what is the fucking word? That's why I came to the conclusion of let me out. Like I was joking about it. I was like, I'm banging on the door of America. Let me out. Let me out. Let me the fuck out of this fucking country because how are people like I said, I'm a 90s baby, but it's and for some people like the Gen Zs, I guess that will be considered old because we're in our 30s. But y'all, we used to go to the clinic together. We used to go to Planned Parenthood together. And it's like somewhere along the line, people just stop wanting to know or something, or they just stop caring. And it's like, I like you so much that, if I got it, maybe we both are just having to get like, no, that's first of all, that's not love. That's codependency. If you really love somebody, you're not going to want them going through nothing that's sad that you barely want to go through or can handle. Like, what happened to the morals? And karma is real. I feel like couples and people that have done that to people that they claim they love, I feel like those people that did that, karma hit them and they was like, yeah, like eventually they conscience start weighing on them like, man, that girl didn't have, or that dude didn't, they going through this because of me, because of my selfish ways, and they had a life before this, and look at their pictures, look at them when they came out of high school. Like, bruh, if you really love and care about somebody, you should never want to see them deal with something like that if it can be prevented. I would never. On purpose, something that can ruin their life. Like, no. So I was ranting about that, y'all. I was just kind of like, you know what I'm saying, talking to my mental diary about that. And then, aside from, that's the other last little, I just gotta get this little small stuff out the way first. Was really a big deal, but it's small to the reason why I made the live. So, because the reason why I made the live is Honey Tribe, okay? So, y'all, I was just thinking about all of that, and then I was like, this is the main reason. Like, y'all have a whole 5-hour live stream up. It's private right now. If I get requests in a certain number of donations or likes or something like that, then I will unlive it. Not unlive it, Lord, y'all know what I mean. Unprivate the live. I will unprivate that live stream. It is very like it's like a 2-hour movie, but it's entertaining as fuck. And I'm just pretty much telling my story about my human trafficking situation. If I get to 1,000 subs by like next Friday, I'll take it off private, y'all. I will take it off private. And I also do a bonus live stream, and I will do a story time about my prison situation, okay? Because I haven't did no story time on it, like an actual story time, like with the studs and the K2 stuff and the fight that I got in while I was in there, and even like a little bit of when I got released. So if I get to 1,000 subs by like next Friday, y'all, I will make that live. I will take it off private, and I will also do a prison story time, okay? My bad, I wasn't even looking at the screen. Hey y'all, what's up? Leo, whatever your name is. You said hi and you said hello. So y'all, last point before I get into the reason why I made the live stream was I was battling, like I was fighting hard against that, sex trafficking stuff. Cause I never really was like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how people say you ain't about that life. Now that shit, I really wasn't about that life. I was just like all the other innocent girls that's like struggling in college, or, they just getting out their parents' house, they getting on their own in the world, they still young. And I just wanted to, get a boost in my finances so that I can actually pour into my real career, which was, is music and modeling and stuff like that. So yeah, I was never really about that life. So like when pimps start coming and approaching me, child, and certain females, and they telling me how they do raw anal, all that stuff, y'all, like I was like, hell no, I'm not doing it, y'all. Like, I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? And it's like the sex trafficking, it's like they kept trying to force, like make me afraid about, well, you might go homeless, you might lose your job, you might go through this situation, this is what you gonna do. Oh, you better do it, you better do it. You don't want to, yeah, you don't want to, and it's like, that shit drugged me for a few years, bro, like almost 10 years. I would get out, I would get in a relationship, have kids, I would get a job, get a boyfriend, whatever the case may be, and that energy, you know what I'm saying, for like 5 to 10 years. And so when I caught on to it, y'all, the E5 stuff, Yemoja, all of that, when I caught on to what was happening, a part of me wanted to be in denial because, I'm like, nobody, like, I have love. Somebody love me. Somebody love me in the world. That ain't what's going on. I'm not, that ain't what's happening. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like any good, normal person that's good that get to do it and then have family and friends, and it ain't that serious with me. Like that ain't. And so I did something to see, right? Which I talked about that in my Sex Trafficking Live. I was pretty much like, when stuff start going crazy, like with my money getting too low, my living situation getting too dramatic, conflict and stuff, I'm not going to immediately panic and get pulled in, because that's what it always was. It was never me really being like that. I ain't even gonna do it. I'm gonna just see what happened. And baby, when I tell you, there was times I woke up and looked around in my life and I was like, oh my God, that's what's really happening. To the point where certain dudes would approach me and talk about, it's like everybody knew my personal business. It was so aggravating. But it's like a few people, like I would talk to a guy on just some conversation shit, and then it would have the fucking audacity to say some shit out their mouth, like, sometimes just gotta be humble and do what you gotta do. Like, y'all, I'm telling you, that was a dark, hellish, demonic time of my life, but I'm a survivor of it. You feel what I'm talking about? I'm a survivor of it. And so that's how bad it was, where people was like, talking like that versus, yeah, just wait on God, be patient, something to come through, da 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 da. I know a shelter, I know like really, really was being trafficked. So anyway, I fought through it, y'all. Like I put sometimes I got videos I can take them off fucking private, bruh. Now if I get to 1,020 subscribers, I'll take one of them videos off private where it's like an hour long video where I'm in the library in Florence, South Carolina, y'all. And I do a story time. If I get to, I'm gonna post it. If I get to 1,050 subscribers by next week, sometimes between Wednesday and next Friday, not only will I take off the live that was private, I'll take off the privacy of the live about the sex trafficking, because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in there, right? But I also do a story time about the prison, okay? A live stream about that. But that's if I get to 1,000. Now, if I get to 1,050 by next Friday, Wednesday, between Friday, I will take off the privacy of the live where I'm in the library. Y'all know I look kind of rough too, y'all. Where I'm in the library and I'm pretty much like, I put it on my kids. Like in the video, I'm putting it on my kids. I'm like punching my arms and stuff. And I'm telling what I'm going through, where I had to sleep the night before, all of that. And I'm pretty much saying like, if I can sleep outside, find somewhere to sleep, I'm good. As long as I got food, if I can make sure I got, the basic necessities, find somewhere to brush my teeth, take a shower, all of that type of stuff, I'm not tripping. But on my kids, I'm never, ever, ever on my fucking kids' life, I'm never fucking selling my body again. And it's like an hour, almost 2 hour long live stream in the library in Florence, South Carolina. And I also will make a story time. I won't say the bitch nigga name, okay? But I will make because it needs to be like it's a story. There's no way you can't make a story about it, right? Where I could have, God, thank you, I did not contract something from this sicko, but I will do a live stream. I mean, a live stream story time about this guy when I had low self-esteem that I met in that lifestyle that I fell for, and some stuff happened, and I'll even throw a few bonuses in there. Well, I'll take like 2 of the other lives that's on private right now. Well, it wasn't a live, it was a video about like the gang stalking and the stuff that I was dealing with when I was dealing with him in South Carolina, okay? So that's if I get to 1,050 subscribers by next Friday. If I get to at least 1,000 by next week, I will go ahead and take off the SMEX trafficking privacy. I'll take that off private, and I'll also do a prison story time, okay? So yeah, y'all, when I was going through that, it was demonic because with my work skills, I'm a very good, like I have good computer skills. I can type really, really well, really fast. I can operate a computer really good. So I could have worked at a call center. I could have worked with computers. I could have did receptionist work. I could have also did something, with like cleaning, housekeeping and things like that. I also can do hair really well. Waitressing. There's just no excuse, bro, for my life to have ended up in a position to where it was just that bad. Like, I don't do drugs and I don't strung out on crack, heroin, nothing like that. It should have never got that way, but it was all spiritual. And that's why, I'm extremely locked in when it comes to my belief system now. You know what I'm saying? Because I realized that's what caused it. It was an injustice. So I just wanted to also put that in there that's what I was pretty much talking about. And that's why, I've calmed down a lot, y'all. I don't drink, smoke, party, none of that shit, because people really be hating on people. Like that destiny swapping shit that people be trying to do, and like just like the stuff people would do with magic when they envious or when they don't want to see you get certain opportunities that they got. That's why I literally, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much why I slowed down and calmed down a lot with the partying and dealing with people, hanging with people, okay? So what is the thing called, y'all? Back in the day on Craigslist, they had like a category called, I just keep wanting to say misconnections, but I know for a fact that's not what it was called. Okay? And it wasn't hit or miss, because that's like a term that people use to say like if something to go good or wrong. I don't know. But it was something like they were on back, y'all know back in the day Craigslist, right? Craigslist ain't like nowhere near like it used to be. Craigslist used to be like, y'all know, Craigslist used to be that site, right? Just like it used to be a site called Moco Space. I don't know if y'all remember about Moco Space, but it was really mainly known and used for its chat rooms. That's where like a whole like thousands, like not like on TikTok where it's only like a certain. I think the maximum people you can have on a live stream on TikTok is probably like 12 or 14. I don't know. Where you can have, I don't even think it's that many. I think it's like their panels, I think the most that you can have up is like maybe 20 or 15, 16, 18. I don't know. But Moco Space was a chat room where it's not people talking or camming up, but they're typing. And it's like a bunch at one time, right? So that used to go up too. Like Moco Space used to go up. I don't know if people still be on there. Shit, I might download the app today just to fucking see. But you could also, I doubt it. Because it kind of started fizzling out over the years because of like RICO cases and the whole sex trafficking thing. And just like the gang stuff and all that type of stuff. And then these other apps like Twitter, Instagram, all the other stuff. And then now you got TikTok, you got Twitch, you got fucking Kick, all this other shit. So I doubt that it still goes up, but you never know, right? Because even back then, you didn't hear people just randomly talking about no fucking Moco Space, okay? Because I think it was a site that Mexicans created, okay, and ran. I think it's ran by like Mexicans or something like that. But like the niggas, you know what I'm talking about? And I don't know if it was in other states too, y'all. I think it was really just a Georgia thing. Like I think, I'm not sure. But I am gonna see later today if Melco Space still goes up, like as far as the chat rooms and shit. That shit used to be crazy. So I don't even know why I even just brought Moco Space up, y'all. Oh my God, what was I saying? Because I don't want this to be longer than 30, 45 minutes, right? Okay, so pretty much, y'all, with that situation, getting out, like with me going through all of that stuff, I feel like it was because of spiritual. I'm trying to like find my way back to my point I was making. And so that's why I don't really deal with people like that no more. And yeah, okay, so this was around that time that I used to be on Moco Space, should I say. Somewhat, kinda, but not really. Right? So yeah, Craigslist, that's what I was talking about. Thank you, y'all. I was talking about Craigslist. So y'all know Craigslist used to go up. Craigslist used to go up back then to the point where they had a Lifetime movie come out called The Craigslist Unaliver, right? So yeah, Craigslist done calm down a lot. It's nowhere near like it fucking used to be. You used to really be able to go on there and find anything that you need. And if you know what I mean, anything, I mean anything. It's somewhat still like that, but it's not no more because they start hating on who can fucking post on there. Like, if you know, you know. Like, trying to just make a fucking Craigslist post just to sell some furniture that you don't want no more or anything. Like, they take you through the moles, like, or it'll get flagged and it ain't even been up that long. So, yeah, Craigslist don't go up like it used to be no more because of that reason right there. Also, that category, I remember coming across it and just looking and reading and clicking through. If you know, you know, Honey Drive. I used to like click through some of the categories and it used to be like, you had on a blue shirt. It used to be like you had on a blue shirt, some white Air Force Ones, and your hair up in a bun. You were the most chillest, coolest cashier I've ever come across. Like, and you know, people used to must have to use the look on there because how would these people know to post this stuff and just know that maybe the person that they're looking for is gonna come across it? So people had to use like be on Craigslist a lot, right? But I remember one day it was called something connections. Y'all, was it Misconnections? If that was it, y'all, my bad, because I just really don't remember. But it was something, it was called something like that. And when I tell y'all, I went through one day just to read and see, like, what the fuck is this? So they had like a miscellaneous category. They had a category for, you know, gigs and talents and opportunities like that. And one day I was like, what the fuck is this misconnection? What is this shit? And I read, man, it was so many fucking posts on there. People was just talking about like, um we dated for 6 months and you were the nicest, da, 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 but then my niece or then my aunt got sick and I had to move out of the state and I lost contact with you. Sad face emoji, crying emoji, crying emoji. And I just wonder, are you out there? Will I ever see you again, y'all? What the fuck was that category called? So anyway, this live stream is about that. Have y'all ever had like, cause me, it was, I've had like friendships like this too, right? Where I'll make a live stream. The girl name is, it rhymes with Yasmin, but that's not her name, right? So she would go in this category too, right? So it doesn't have to be a situation that you dealt with romantically or in a relationship wise. It could also be like a friend, somebody that was cool as fuck, like y'all hit it off good as fuck, and they just vanished. You never seen them again. You never heard of them again. You didn't have the information you needed to like find them on social media and stuff like that, right? So this particular live, that's pretty much what I'm talking about. And hey, how are you? Okay, so look, this particular situation, y'all, I was leaving out of Strokers, all right? And I'm not gonna like go like into details in the beginning because I already said certain stuff when I was trying to like work through what happened. We're just gonna say this person's name was Trey, okay? Even though that wasn't his name, okay? I can't find nothing else that rhyme with his name that sound right. But it is a singer whose second name or last name is like it rhymes with Trey, if you get what I'm saying. So like Larvin Trey. Okay. So anyway, this person so, okay, so y'all, I was staying on the east side with my homegirl. I had already been staying over there by myself because I had a roommate situation going on with some girls that I worked with, and I was kind of like slick going through like a little breakup. I knew it was a breakup, but my ex at the time, he felt like he owned me. He felt like, I was like his bitch, his bitch, his bitch. So he didn't think that, I was just gonna leave him, that the situation was gonna fucking finally end or whatever. So he kind of betrayed me. He used to kind of put his hands on me, but not like putting black eyes on me. Like, it was never like, bitch, it was never like that. But like snatching my phone out of my hand, breaking my nails, shit like that. Like if I get to, if we get into it or something, like put his arm around my neck, like not squeezing it till a bitch pass out. Like it was never like woman beater, but it was like he put his hands on me sometimes. So I used to overlook that shit because we was locked in, you know what I'm saying? His mom, we was close, everything, da da da. The nigga, he was my nigga. Like, take me to work, pick me up. I'm always getting clothes, going over his house, da da. All that is in like a bunch of other little live streams that I might take off private as well. Like if I get to 3,000 subscribers, y'all, I will go back and do I can't remember what I named it, but it was like the Streets of Atlanta Chronicles. Y'all, my memory is so bad. I know that's not what it was. It was like Southside Chronicles or some shit like that, y'all. Where I'm like talking about what happened. I do a part two, bitch, from like back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Recipe to Slim Dunkin' and all that good stuff. But yeah, I'll do a part two to that Chronicles, and it'll be like a three. The videos be like over an hour and stuff. So I'll be having to do like 1, 2, 3, part three and shit like that or whatever while I talk about it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, but I gotta get to 3,000 subscribers before I even do that. Okay, so let's just start with 1,000 subscribers. Okay, so yeah, y'all. This is around that time. So me and him was locked in. That's another story time. That story time is already recorded. It's with the Southside Chronicles. And so yeah, with that situation with me and him, but he just started doing me kind of wrong. Like he was overall a good nigga and a good boyfriend, but he just started thinking he was gonna play games and stuff. So I already was kind of like not happy. When Scorpio women love, we love hard as fuck, y'all. So it was never given like I was cheating and fucking around on him or nothing like that. It was definitely given like, me telling niggas I got a boyfriend, we in a relationship, I love him, da da da. But still, he did something that I just seemed to kind of like mentally get over. Cause I cut her off, I cut the female off, but I still was dealing with my nigga. And it was this chick that I was hanging with. It was definitely giving clout chasing in the beginning, like of our friendship and shit like that. And so, she kind of was somewhat of a bad example, a bad, influence on me. The bitch was an alcoholic, a fucking drunk. She used to stay in the club, live for the club life. And she's the one that kind of told me about the strip and stuff like, bitch, you can make some bank, get you a foreign car, all this other shit like that. Meanwhile, I was okay with putting them hours in. I had 2 regular clock in, clock out jobs. And so, yeah, and my clearly my boyfriend at the time, he kind of wanted to keep it that way because we had our little schedule and da. If I'm talking fast, just so y'all ain't got to fast forward, okay, to just keep up. So anyway, long story short, that's where our relationship was. You know what I'm saying? Me and his mom liked each other. She liked me, da da. Me and him just knew we was gonna have kids and get married and all that and go on, do my music, all of that. But life had other plans. So after he did the shit, which pretty much I seen him, you'll have to just watch the story time. One of the story times that I have to take off live if I hit like a certain amount of subscribers, I would just start taking shit off private, y'all. And then doing more live streams with story times and stuff that y'all request for me to talk about or whatever that I would get to it. But it ain't enough engagement at this time. So yeah, y'all, when I tell y'all why, I'm not gonna talk about it in this live stream, but pretty much I had to let him go, y'all. It hurt. I did love him. I did like him. I did want the situation. We was used to each other, but that nigga play too much. And I don't know. I feel like people that when they think they got Scorpio locked in, they think they could just play games and that you ain't gonna go nowhere. So yeah, I kind of like mentally and emotionally had left the relationship before I physically left. So the reason why I physically left, that's what this live stream is about. Y'all, so after me and him kind of like start distancing ourselves a little bit, or I started stripping, we was still in love and in our relationship then. But I was now like, working more or with my homegirls that did that more than I was with him. So our relationship kind of started to fizzle out. And after this shit happened, like I said, with the bitch I was hanging with, which he didn't fuck her or nothing like that. But like I said, I'll go into like an entire story time about exactly what it was. But after that shit happened, I did actually start looking. Like I would look at a nigga 1, 2, 3 seconds longer than I normally would. You know what I'm saying? Like versus just how my mind would just be on my man, my boyfriend. Like I would, I kind of stop falling out of love with him. So one day, me and my homegirl was out because where I lived on the east side, people used to like if you lived on that particular strip, um, there was no point of like people used to like actually like to walk places because you might run into somebody that got some weed for sale or some bundles for sale or some rims for sale. Hell, you never fucking know. And you might see something, because even the little high schoolers, like even the youngest used to be wilding over there. Like, so people like, especially on the weekends, motherfuckers used to just like to walk on that strip, like where they gotta go if they're going to the liquor store, if they're going, and there's a strip club over there. So anyway, even though I was used to dancing at a gentleman's club where you would get fired for getting naked in there, you could not dance naked in there because you couldn't have a dancer's permit. I wanted to, I worked right across the street when the parking lot used to be packed of this club called Strokers. So I had been putting off. One day I was like, man, fuck this shit. Let me walk up here and see, with the manager, what they talking about, what I got to do to get in here. So long story short, I talked to him. He told me what I had to do. Like, oh yeah, you could work here for sure. You'll make money. You pretty, da da da. You ain't got no kids, da da da. You never had no kids. You 18, all this other stuff. But you gotta get you a dancer's permit. He was telling me how that works, right? He's like, it costs $400 or something like that. And so because I wasn't a whore, I wasn't selling my body or nothing like that, all of that stuff started with stripping. I was a stripper first. I was a professional dancer first, okay? Because some people, they so delusional and obsessed with me that they forget this shit. So anyway, and before I was a stripper, I was a regular girlfriend, like a good girl working a job. I didn't do anything in the adult sexual industry. So pretty much, y'all, I'm leaving out of there. My mind is like, da, 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 da. I'm just thinking about it like, okay, well, I only make like $300, $400 at the most at the bikini bar. You know what I'm saying? Well, you don't get naked there, but then I have to pay the bar fee to tip out and all, and then I also have to pay my part of the rent and the bills and stuff like that. So that's where my mind was at. Like, how can I come up with this money to get this dancer's permit or whatever, and start dancing up here at this strip club, okay, where it be like deep as hell, be like a lot of cars in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? Be going up. So I'm coming out of the damn club, and that's when I see this guy, this misconnection. I'm gonna just call it misconnection, y'all. I don't know what the fuck you call these situations, right? Let's make this shit trend. TikTok, YouTube, y'all. Let's make misconnections trend. Like I think I'm gonna even do like a story time on TikTok. We should really make this trend. Like, what misconnections do y'all have? I got a lot of them, bro. I got a lot of misconnections, especially when it wasn't even like no dating type of situation. It was just a misconnection with like a motherfucker I was cool as hell with, like, and I ain't never see they ass again. In fact, it's one where the nigga was a Scorpio like me. He was hella young, no cap, but he had a decent ass. He had like a nice little whip on some rims, and he was cool as fuck. He looked out for me while I was going through that situation I told y'all about the sex trafficking and not wanting to do that shit no more. Or I'm like, fuck it, if I gotta just sleep in my storage, sleep outside or something like that till buses is running in the morning or the gym open up, or when I gotta go clock in my job, that's what the fuck I'm gonna do, right? And this dude around that time when I was going through that, I met him. Didn't try to have sex with me, didn't do none of that. We just on some cool shit. And we even laid in the bed together. Like it was like I'll do a story time on TikTok or something else about that. But y'all, let's make the misconnections pound hashtag misconnections. Y'all, like let's wake this shit all the way up because like we need to like will that bring certain people so we can get closure? And if somebody should start like a show, even if you do it at night, when most people is off work or something like that, somebody should start a show called Misconnections to where, like, if you hear this person, like obviously somebody that like got like millions of followers and stuff like that, like should make a show called Misconnections to where people can come on there and they could tell about like the connection, whether it's like a friend, maybe even a family member or somebody they dated, and then like they have their ways of being able to find, the person, and then they could come get closure. Like, or even if it's a sad situation where they like, girl, this person passed away. Yeah, this is we have their sister coming on the show to tell you, and da 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 da. But and then they can get their closure like that. And even if the person is crying, like, oh my God, I didn't know that, da da da. They could be like, yeah, but he really like you, and she really like you. They really said you was cool, da da da. connections. Y'all wake that shit the fuck up, okay? And then even if it's a situation where like they did pass away, but it's like, girl, that person in prison now, da da da, but I might get y'all a phone call, or bitch, that motherfucker goddamn is married with 3 kids happily. Like, let's just wake misconnections up, okay? So that's pretty much what this is about. All right, so let's get into it. So coming out the strokers, y'all, and this guy, he pretty much was trying to like, it was giving like on some, nice, respectful stuff, like, hey, beautiful, how you doing? Or can I give you a ride where you going? You ain't gotta walk, da da da, what's your name, what's your number, what's your sign type shit, right? So normally I used to be on some shit like when soon as a nigga is in that energy, because I was always used to having a boyfriend. And even though me and my ex at the time, we wasn't like in the best space, you know how when you really a good girlfriend or boyfriend, you like y'all, y'all might get back together. So you're not gonna immediately just be like, yeah, what's up? Oh, my number is 678. You're not gonna be in there because you like shit. Even if we're not together, they might ask me, do I want to go out somewhere with them and their mama to the mall together or something like that. So anyway, that's just how I was like when niggas be trying to holler and shit. So, but I don't know what he said. He said the right thing or the vibe was right to where he had me smiling and laughing. And so now we end up talking. We end up engaging in some sort of conversation. So he like, man, get in the car. Let me take you home. You ain't got to walk. I don't want you walking. Da, da, da. So we get in his car, y'all. First of all, this motherfucker was like, what drawed me to him is he was hella mature. He was hella like he carried himself like he had like a dude that was older than him, that looked good, that dripped the same fucking swag that he looked up to. Because when we got together, I found out just how fucking young he really was. Like, not even just age-wise, just mentally, right? Because he stayed with his mama, and we're going to get into that. And it was vice versa with me. I'm really innocent, good girl when you get to know me. And at that age, 18, I know it was a lot of little girl shit that I probably showed around him. Because he used to kind of say, and I used to be to myself, nigga, please, you fucking younger than me. You like a couple months or a year younger than me. So what is you saying? Yeah, I think he was like a couple months younger than me because I was 18, so he was 17. Just had turned 17 or something like that. And he stayed with his mom, right? And this ain't like to call him broke or nothing like that. Like, the nigga was young as fuck. So anyway, I was 18, had my own apartment, and with my homegirl, well, I let her, stay in the other room. We split everything. And as you can see, I was coming out of strokers. I was on some, trying to get into it like a real strip club shit. And so I feel like we both was attracted to each other for the same reason, like the maturity. You young, like you hella fucking mature, like on some, not you old as hell, but just on some grown woman, grown man shit. So y'all, his swag, he had a different swag, right? And he told me early on that he wasn't from America. He was like, I'm from Dominican Republic. So just trying to paint the picture for you guys to see his swag or whatever. He used to wear like these gold. I believe it was real Cartier or something like that. But I think either somebody gave them to him or he stole them. Like him and his homeboy hit a lick or something. I don't know. But he used to take real pride in them. Like, how people like blow them off and like wipe them off and all of that. And they keep them in the case and they keep them up. And hold on, don't touch these. Like he was like real extra about that. So his swag alone, he was a red nigga. He had like a low haircut. He had the little glasses or whatever. And we was a cute couple. I'm not even finna cap. Like his homeboy used to joke and be like, we like brother and sister. Like his homeboy, his name was like Brooklyn or New York or some shit like that. He used to kind of say that. And then we was like the same height. Like we really did. Like his nose was like a little bit more rounder, like Winnie the Pooh, like as much as I can remember back. So I think we both was drawn, like it took off real fast. Like we both was like always around each other, always touching each other, always on each other, right? So he took me to my apartment, dropped me off, we exchanged numbers, and he called me immediately, like before he even got home. We was just on the phone, fucking stop, like non-stop. And I do remember his mom calling him back to 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 back. So their relationship was kind of like different. It wasn't given like they did anything inappropriate with each other, but it was just given like she allowed him to be more grown than like a two-parent, a married couple, or like certain parents would. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what their reason is. Maybe they went through some sort of trauma. You never know why situations be like that. But you gonna see why I said that. Like she allowed him to be real grown. So I'm trying to like end this in like another 10 minutes, like my point about all of this. So y'all bear with me if I talk a little fast. Just have your volume up and just listen. So our shit started off a little slow as far as like him coming by, chilling, whatever. Cause me and my homegirl, we had like a rule, like, you know, she would come to me and let me know, like, you know, such and such finna come over, da da da, make sure it was okay with me. Cause we was female, we're girls, we're women. So, you know, we might be walking around, wanna walk around the house a certain way, or, you know, in our drawers and t-shirts, which most girls do, most black girls, especially if you kind of shapely, you know, you don't wanna be hot. Or we might, you know, be taking a shower, getting out the shower, something like that. So we definitely used to like tell each other first before we let just a nigga come over there and smoke or hang out or some shit like that. So, you know, I told her about him, and so he would come over sometimes and smoke and watch movies. That was our thing. Like we used to watch movies and stuff, but he really went on that. He used to like watching music videos, which I like watching music videos too. But that seemed to be like all we did at his house was listen to music and him watch music videos. And him play the game in the living room. He used to play like the Xbox or something like that. Him and his friends used to love playing the game. But when I came around and we got together, it really wasn't his friends coming over there no more. Like you could tell they was used to it because they kind of used to like, he used to have like little small little arguments like where I couldn't really hear everything they was saying. Um, but he just really didn't want to play video games no more in the living room with them no more. So we used to be in his room with the door locked all the time, just pretty much cuddled up, caked up, you know, doing grown people stuff as well. But even when we wasn't doing that, we just used to be like on each other a lot. Like he just used to enjoy like drinking. He was an alcoholic more than a smoker. He didn't really smoke like that. His homeboys, they used to sometimes get a bag of weed on the weekend or something, and I could tell he had been smoking because his eyes would be red as hell and low. But he wasn't a smoker. He was a drinker. So he would have his little wine coolers or beer or actual straight liquor that he would be drinking and want to just kind of just, you know, rub on my legs, you know how it be when you in love or you know what I'm saying, you really into the person you dealing with. So pretty much that's the energy, that's the vibe we used to be on in his room and stuff like that. He used to have like the little neighbors or people that stayed in his area that he used to deal with a lot. They just used to post up outside his bedroom window. And even though he was on the top floor, they would be still like down there by that little green box thing and like bikes and sitting in the car. Like that's what they used to do. Even though he wasn't even out there with them no more. He was in the room with me. It was weird, y'all. I used to wonder about that. Like all he literally used to have to do was lift his window up or open the screen or whatever, you know what I mean, and just be like, hey, where's such and such at? Because they always was right there by his window, right? So that's the vibe. Like, it was always just visualize and just know it was always a bunch of people outside his window down there by that green box thing. But we always was in his house in the room. Now, another thing that was weird to me once we started like really getting to know each other and hanging out and me being over there, first of all, he wanted me to spend the night way too soon. The first few times I was like, hell no. Like, I had a lot of trauma growing up, so I always would think the worst of people. I'm like, is this nigga weird? Like, he gonna try to kill me? Because I'm telling you, he carry himself very, very, very old. Like, he carry himself like a 25, 26-year-old nigga. Not even just the way he used to sag his pants, because that don't mean a nigga is old. In fact, a lot of mature, conscious people would consider that being ignorant. But I'm just saying, like, his swag, he carry himself like really old. Like you could tell he had been around somebody that was like in the streets that was older, but that carried themselves a certain way because his whole energy gave off that he had like a daughter, a baby mama. This boy was fucking 17, bro, staying with his mama. Like, but that's the vibe that I got from him when we first met. So that was like I said, that was what attracted me to him. Cause not that I always like older dudes, but he acted really mature. And I guess vice versa with me. Unless he just knew that was just how I had to be. Because something told me he kind of had been watching me or knew of me, something like that, before we met. So we go to his house. Instead of me thinking his mom's gonna be like, no, you ain't bringing no little girl over here. Da, 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 da. His mom was hella cool of it. But mind you, they're Dominican. They're from Dominican Republic. Like, they the flag, everything, the food, everything. Like, they spoke it. They used to speak the language all the time fluently. In their English accent, they still had their Dominican accent, right? So for all I know, maybe she knew some stuff, and she just was like, as long as my son ain't bringing a man home, as long as my son ain't gay. I don't know, but I remember thinking that was weird because, like, he used to want me to spend the night, like, and at first I didn't because I was like, oh man, and then I kind of like, even though I was upset and I was still like a little hurt and felt betrayed by my ex at the time, I didn't want to just, because I never knew like what could happen. Like I said, when I first met the dude Trey, that's what we're just gonna call him. So, like, the first week we was talking, he just kept like, please spend the night. No, don't go home. I was like, I can't. No, 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 no. And then I would have other stuff that I have to worry about in my apartment that I had with my sister, the girl I called my sister at the time. She was like more of a friend, but I called her my sister. We wasn't really related. And she probably would be blowing my phone up like, you okay, bitch? You know, I was just checking on you, da 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 da. Right? We didn't really spend the night out. That's not what we did. You know, I used to with my actual boyfriend at the time, but that was even before me and her got an apartment. That was when I had an apartment with two people one of the girls that I used to work with, right? My manager that I used to work with and her roommate that she had already had. It was a 3 bedroom. So that's just not something that we did. We didn't really, and if one of us did or did stay out late, we was blowing the other phone up like, girl, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? You good? You straight? Type shit. So like the first week he wanted me to so bad. And I was like, no, like, no. You know, I started thinking that's all he wanted from me. Or I was thinking just negative in general. Like maybe he gonna try to do something to me in my sleep. Like I just didn't want to do that, right? So like a week or at least like a 2 weeks or a week went by, and you know he would just like early out. When I tell y'all early in the fucking morning, like all the memories. Oh my goodness, all the memories is coming back. Like it would be early. It's like 6:30 in the fucking morning. The birds is still tweeting outside. The sun ain't even up, y'all. And I have like 4 fucking missed calls from this nigga, and you could hear like the water running, him washing his face, brushing his teeth and stuff. He's like, "Good morning, beautiful." He's like, so you coming over now? Can I come pick you up? Da, 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 da. Like, and I'll be like, bro, yeah, can you get me to like 1 o'clock? He's like, 1 o'clock? Man, I'm on the way now. You better hurry up. Hurry up. Your breath don't stink that bad. You better hurry up and get dressed, right? This is the vibe that it used to be. So I used to just remember like, oh my God, this nigga better want to see me. So I get dressed and everything. We go to his place. His mother would be there. Okay. Walking around the house, cleaning up, cooking. It'll smell like they just cooked some food and stuff like that. Um, and I wasn't like I was used to it because my actual boyfriend, but I just wasn't used to seeing niggas move like they like, you know, normally niggas mamas be kind of on some other shit with girls and stuff. So but it wasn't. It's like now that I'm older and I be like reminiscing on this, I feel like she just liked me. I don't think that used to. I don't feel like it was a situation where, because a lot of my boyfriends it ended up like that, y'all. Like where they would introduce me to their moms, and then from them, like even if their mama didn't end up liking me or never liked me, the dude, like the person who it matters the most, like the guy I would be in a relationship with, that's what they would want. Like you could tell that's what they would want. Like, you know how you can see like a nigga smiling, they getting happy while you and their mom talking or she asking you questions. Like they would want that, even though I would feel like a vibe from the mom, like that she really didn't approve of me or didn't like me. Or and a lot of times I had to learn as I got older, y'all, there really wasn't even nothing wrong with me. It's just that she felt like my son liked her too much. Or she's gonna take him away from me. Or thank you, spirit. Or she's gonna break his heart. Like she it's gonna be other dudes trying to talk to her or something like that. Or she got other dudes that try to talk to her, and it's gonna break my son's heart. So I feel like it was mainly those reasons. It wasn't like, oh, she's a whore. Oh, she's gonna give him a disease. Like I don't feel like they was. I feel like they seen like the classiness in me, the maturity. They seen whatever they son seen in me. But I feel like when I would get that, because it wasn't always every fucking boyfriend's mom felt that way. But I feel like when I did get that energy from them, where you know, like I would have like my feelings would be hurt a little bit. Like why is she coming off so hard, like so standoffish? You know what I'm saying? I would kind of be to myself about it, and my boyfriend would kind of just be like, even dudes that I wasn't boyfriend and girlfriend with, like they still, like a lot of them, I've met their mom, right? And they would kind of like put their arm around me, or like it could be a barbecue, any situation where it was like this. Like I had a boyfriend, a serious boyfriend named just for the delusional hoes and niggas that think I'm making this shit up. He was from the east side too. His name was Black. I don't know if he's like picking up on this energy that I'm talking about right now, and he knows like his name was Black, and he was Black, and he had goals, and we was like in love. And he was from Candler Road, and that's just another example of bitch. It was never given. Thought ran through. I just want to hit it and quit it ever. All right, but that's another situation where I didn't even see it coming. I just, soon as we started talking, I met their mother. Okay, and it's probably many more situations like that, right? But anyway, let's get back on let's get back on subject. So y'all, I just remember feeling so uncomfortable because she was just around and he was not like considering that she was there, like still squeezing on my ass, still just randomly asking for a hug to do that. Um, I'm in the room sitting on the bed. Like this is like in the beginning before we start, doing the grown people. Like his mom calling him in the living room or calling him to go do something, or he got to go answer the door for one of his homeboys or something like that. And but you still doing that type of stuff. She's here. It was just like something that it took me a second to accept because it felt so weird. Something just felt off, and maybe it was. I haven't did no reading on this situation. I am sometime this weekend, not today. Something was about, something was up with that, okay? Whether it was good or bad, something that I did not see or pick up on was going on with that situation. And I appreciate that. And then like a whole bunch of traffic coming through here right now because baby, it would definitely distract me from telling the story time. So y'all, when I tell you, in the beginning, that's how it was. We wasn't doing nothing. I was like, no, 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 she's here. When we finally did, she was there. Or I think the first time we waited till she went to work, he was like, she go to work. Anyway, that's TMI. That's TMI. That's TMI. We're not doing that right in this video right now. So that's how it was in the beginning. I would go, I would leave at night, right? Because my places at the time should be blowing me up. Like, girl, what the fuck are you? Da-da-da, you don't know them like that. Da-da-da. And I would go home. Then it got to the point, I think, like after the first and second time that we actually did something. Obviously, the stuff he was saying, we're not doing that in this video, but just know it was like it was like being said that, you mind, I don't want you to go nowhere to die. So I would spend the night, he was like a cuddler. So, or we would take a nap. We took a lot of naps in the daytime. I do remember that a lot of like the sun beaming through the window, but we just did something. So we taking a nap now. So anyway, y'all, he would just like, come on, let's take a nap, 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 right? He loved taking these daytime naps. And I don't know if he always used to be sleep. I think he had anemia or something. Nigga definitely didn't have no disease, right? Because I still hadn't even had my first child. And when I had my first child, I got tested for everything. I have no diseases. But I think he had like anemia or something because I have anemia and it can get like bad. Or if I have my iron levels in control, it's, I have more energy and stuff like that. But I believe this nigga had like real bad anemia because clearly his mom, like this is not something he just would do because, we just had did something, he was tired and it was good. Like I feel like he always used to be sleepy a lot, like sleeping a lot sometimes. And so even when that was going on while I was there, like his mom would kind of come in the room or knock on the door first to come in the room, and she would or yell his name, and I would shake him and tell him she was calling him, or she would just know that he was asleep, so she would have to keep calling him loud. And you could tell that this was something that he had already been like, sleeping a lot in his room, in his bed. So I just had to give the vibe, y'all, because this is where we was at with it, right? And so it was even little times where once it got to that phase, it was times where like he would tell his mom that I said I don't think she like me, like on some childish shit. Mom, Crystal said you don't like her. And like I said, she would talk in her Dominican accent, be so strong, and she would say stuff like, little nice stuff that I don't know why I didn't take this stuff to heart. Maybe because my brain was 18. I was so young. And when you just feel like, you just got your whole life ahead of you. You want to be a star, all this stuff. But there was nice stuff said back then by people's moms and family members. Like, I'm sure she said some stuff like that's because that's what it was given. Like, either she said it out loud or he said it before, like that I was her daughter that she never got to have, right? And I just didn't take it like, oh my God. I had my own mom and, but I do remember her kind of like putting that out there. Like, even though she wasn't just like mushy, just sitting up under me, having one-on-one conversations with me, it never gave that. She was always off to herself, doing stuff around that house, cooking, cleaning. She had like plants and stuff like that on the, on the balcony and shit, right? But we never had like one-on-one time, like, ever. It never was like that, right? But if I mentioned it, or sometimes he would mention it because maybe that's what he wanted to see, he would say it. He pranked her a lot. Like, he would say stuff like that. Like, Mom, Crystal said you don't like her. And she was, what? And looking at it, she would be talking in that Dominican accent. And she was like, I love her. Like, da, da, da. And so, yeah, like it was never like her energy was never given like, bitch, don't come in my kitchen, don't walk around my house. You know, if I wanted to get up and go get a soda out the refrigerator, if I wanted to get some chips or go through the cabinets, I remember being able to do that. And it was never given like her running out of her bedroom like, oh bitch, oh hell nah, you ain't finna. No, it was never like that. Like I felt she treated me like I was one of her children. Like, you know, I was at home there. So this is like one of the worst misconnections for me, y'all. One of the worst, not the worst. So that's pretty much how it was when I was over there. And so I didn't peep. Clearly he was doing it on purpose, but I didn't peep how much he was trying to get me to like, we gonna be more at my house than yours. Right? I didn't peep that. But clearly that's what he was intentionally, sneakily doing, because that's the way it went. So we was more so always at his house. Like even when we would be at my house, he would do the most like, come on, hurry up. Like doing the fucking most if I'm trying to like show off little stuff. Like, look at this, look at these, look at this stuff. Oh, look at my pictures from when I was in. Like, he would come on. Oh my God, come on. Like, trying to rush me. I do remember that as well. And I never put my finger on it. But yeah, anyway. So I would be getting like my pajamas. I would be getting everything, like whatever I want to take over his house and stuff like that. And we would go back over there and be the same vibe, you know what I'm saying? Him pouring liquor, little small shots of liquor and music videos, all right? And sometimes he would let like one or two of his closest out of all the niggas he used to be hanging with in the neighborhood come in, and they would be in the living room playing the game, right? The video game. And we would be in a room. And he'd be like, you staying here tonight, right? That was always like a question I remember him asking, because it was never guaranteed. Like I said, my place sister used to blow my phone up and be like, bitch, where the fuck are you at? Why you not at home, right? We didn't really sleep over at boys' house or let them sleep with us, like at our house. Like we didn't really do that, right? So he never really knew off the top, like if that was something that was gonna be happening. So it was just always a question I remember him asking, like, you staying here tonight, right? You staying here tonight, right? You staying here tonight, right? So, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, he would have to either, like, if you know, you know, he would have to, like, manipulate the situation to where I felt like, fuck, it's 2 o'clock, or I might as well spend the night type shit, right? So that's how that would always end up happening once it started happening. But I will never forget the first time that I did spend a night over there and the sun came up and his mom was still there walking around, and she just opened the door. Or the door was never closed all the way. Maybe he had got up to go use the bathroom or get some water or something throughout the night. Obviously it was closed when we was doing something, but either the door was never closed when I woke up and she came in there, or she just opened the door. But I never forget the first night I spent the night over there, and she did that, and she was like talking to him, letting him know like, oh, I made some meatloaf and some rice, or some mashed potatoes or something like that, whatever. She was always fucking cooking, and she could cook so fucking good. Like, she'll make, like, for example, she'll make like a pot of like jerk boiled chicken or something, but it would be Dominican stuff, and some rice and vegetables and stuff. And when I say he would get a plate of that shit and come in there and be fucking that shit up, and I eat some, or he'd be like, you want me to make you a plate? Like, his mama could cook really, really fucking good. But anyway, I do remember her always, the house always smelled so good, like, and so she'll be telling him that, and he'd be like, all right, like, you can tell he'd still be asleep. And she would just leave, and I'd be laying right there, and I would just feel so out of place. Like, why is she okay with this shit? Like, I don't know, y'all. It was weird. So I get up, go in the bathroom, wash up, take a shower or whatever. And a lot of times he would make me feel like I did that for no reason, because, you know, and so I just found myself slowly but surely like spending so much time over there. And to make the story short, right? It got to the point where he was letting me know that he wanted me to just drop everything I had been building on my own in my life with my place sister that I had the apartment with, and just move in with him. Like, there was times where Like some stuff, it just takes forever to explain. There's no short way to explain it, but I'm not gonna do that, right? But he would like be drinking his liquor and pouring his shots while he listening to what I'm saying on why I'm not gonna move in with him and his mom. And we would be in there like, we would come out the room once his mom would leave, even though she didn't give a damn about me being there, if you get what I'm saying. Like pretty much, I guess that was his way of like, okay, now the apartment is ours. We're living together, just us. When she would go to work. All right, irritate, it hurting. So, like when she would leave, that's when, he would just act like it was just our place. And I remember like him trying to like force that on to me, like, why don't you just stay here instead of, cause okay. And I'm guessing the reason why he was doing that is because I would have to, for one, leave to go try to make money at the club, quote unquote, the strip club, the one where you don't get naked. And number two, that's just always something that I was stressing about. Like, man, I gotta hurry up and come up with money to pay, our light bill. Cause I don't know why our Georgia Power light bill used to be high as fuck. And it was just us two. And we didn't even, like, it was something weird with that shit. But, yeah, that was just, and he was like, man, why don't you, then fuck all that shit. Why you don't just move in with me and my mom? Right? And I just used to, like, it never would cross my mind because I liked my freedom. Even though I'm nowhere near like how I used to be then as far as my privacy, even then I used to need my privacy to kind of like be, like as far as the music, the rapping and all that stuff, like, because I didn't really used to be on that when I would be around a nigga I'm with. Like when I was around a nigga I'm with that I'm dating, it was given like just cuddling, movies, loving on each other, kisses, all that shit. Like it was never, oh, let me pop out with a freestyle. No, even though if they got like a little drunk or high or they was around their friends that was on it, they're probably like, on some flirting with their girlfriend shit. Be like, baby, do that right, let me hear it. Or, they'll come out they shell on some shit like that. But most of the time, I didn't want to be on that around my man, my boyfriend. And I'm sure it's other artists out there that be like that. So anyway, I used to enjoy my time when I was away from him, right? Because I already knew what it was gonna be like. Soon as we see each other, now that we're gonna start doing stuff, soon as I see your ass, soon as you see me, we're gonna start having that feeling, and I don't want to be on that. I know I'm not gonna be on that, right? And so I already knew like that what he was saying was not something I was going to consider at all, right? But he wanted that so bad. Like he used to be like, why? Like he used to be like, why? And I was like, because I really couldn't tell him. Like I didn't know at 18, like how to put it in words. But he's like, why? Because you want to be a little hoe? Why? And I was like, what? He's like, babe, I don't mean it like that. Like our conversations used to get like that, where he kind of started losing his patience and shit. And he's like, I'm just playing, I don't mean it like that. And kissing on me and stuff. Like, no, for real. I have goals. I have things like, well, but you can do that. Stand with me. You don't gotta worry about my mama like you. You ain't gotta worry about no rent or none of that. You could just stay here and we can do a business together. I was like, how? Like, and see, times have changed now. So I see like me and him probably would have did something like a YouTube channel together or something like that, right? But everything happened for a reason. So I don't feel like, oh, I should have listened. No, like life happens, everything happens for a reason. And my son, I don't regret my son, even though that shit was fucked up. What happened with him being adopted, all the other type of stuff like that. Everything just happened for a reason, bro. And it just sometimes don't be a smooth road, right? So anyway, that's what me and him used to be talking about. And that's ultimately why me and him kind of slowly fell out. Not like fell out, like fall out, like when you fall out with somebody and start beefing. But this is kind of like why I started distancing myself from him, because that was always the conversation. And when my answer was still the same, he would get mad, like acting like he finna cry, tearing up, having an attitude, trying to find a reason to play fight with me, to put his hands on me, but just to make up and kiss on my neck and shit. Like, he literally used to be on that whenever I would keep saying no. Like, he literally wanted me to just say, fuck my rent. The lease was in my fucking name, and just pack up all my stuff and move all my stuff in his room with his mom at his mom's apartment. He didn't have a job. Besides me dancing and stuff, I didn't have a job. And yeah, I did get, like, he did. I think he forced his mom. Like, again, when I tell y'all their relationship was real taboo, I don't know why I told you in the beginning why I said what I said. And I told you why also, in her defense, You don't know what type of trauma situation. I don't know what they went through. His dad, I believe he told me his dad was in prison or died or stayed in Dominican Republic still. It was something with them on why she let him act so grown and why they was like the way they was. But he would be like, my mom already said you can stay with us. She don't care. She like you. Like, and I just like, but still, it wasn't about that, y'all. Like, I hadn't been through a lot of the stuff I done been through now where I would be like, ooh, yay. Like, no, I'm like, man, I'm trying to go make a bag, bro. I'm trying to get thousands, millions. I'm trying to do my music. Like, it wasn't something that I was at all considering. And so, even though I was like, stigmatized by him and in love, and we both was in love and all that, he kept talking about us having a daughter, having a baby. And he was talking about how she gonna look like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a little girl, da 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 da. Cause me and him kind of favored, we looked alike a little bit, right? And his mom would smile, but she never was like, yeah, fucking have kids. That it wasn't given that, but she did used to like blush a little bit when he's like, and mama such and such, because he just used to talk about it out in the open sometimes with her around, whether she was like watering her plants or cleaning. She was always just doing stuff to her apartment when I was there, like around the house and stuff, or in her room doing something. And so he would mention it, and she kind of would smile, like, you want your granddaughter, and da 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 da. I mean, and she would kind of like start blushing and smiling or whatever. But I'm trying to think what it was that made him. They argued about something. Oh yeah, when he started. Oh, that's what it was. Thank you, Spirit. Oh my God. So he used to prank her. This is the last point, y'all. He used to prank her, and he used to prank her and be like, he's like, I'm about to go tell my mama you pregnant. And so he would like go in her room, and that used to be funny sometimes, but you could tell like it wasn't funny all the time, because sometimes you could hear her getting serious, like she'd start talking in Dominican or throwing stuff or like just slamming on stuff, like telling him stop fucking playing like that. But the stuff she used to be saying while she was doing that was like, all these bills is on me. You don't have a job yet. No, it's too soon. Y'all need to get a little older and both of y'all get a job. Like pretty much saying like, I'm okay because y'all young now. And hell, who knows? Like I said, I haven't pulled no cards. Maybe she knew. Maybe they did know me already. Maybe she didn't want me to strip. Maybe she didn't want me to get in that lifestyle. I don't know, y'all. Like the truth, I really don't feel like I'm I'm really ready to face the truth. But for all I know, maybe like I already know she really liked me and she wanted me there. She left definitely was like, he's like, go fix your own stuff. Like that's why I start that's what it was. Cause I'm not a liar. Anybody that really know me or know of me for real, that's one thing a bitch don't do is lie. You know what I'm saying? So I do remember that, and I wasn't capping about that, but I didn't know how it got to that point with me feeling comfortable enough to go in their fucking kitchen and just make my own food, pour my own Kool-Aid or soda or whatever. And that's why, because if I would have asked him, he would like be like, nope, you go get it. You go get it. You go get it. Why you scared? Why you scared? And it's like he wanted me to feel that way. And so that's how it got to that point. Like he would to be generous, like to be a gentleman and nice or whatever. But then it got to a point where it was like he just wanted me to feel at home there. And then I realized why. And that was because he wanted me to move in with them. Anyway, just had to put that out there because I do remember how it got to that point, because he would go back and forth with me. I'm like, no, I'm not going to y'all kitchen and pouring my own drink. No. He's like, no, well, I guess you don't want nothing. And I was like, please, please. He's like, I did it the first few times. The first time you came, that's exactly how that went down. And then I think one time he yelled out to his mom, like, Mom, Crystal's scared to get something to eat or get support, fix her own plate or something like that. And then she would come in there and be like, you can get like tell me like be nice or whatever and tell me like you can fix it yourself, like no, you're welcome here, da 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 type shit. And he's like told you, like it got to that point because of that, right? To where I realized I had to kind of just, and I got used to going in there and doing it on my own. So once we got past all of that and I realized what this nigga, where his mind was at as far as me just letting my independence go and moving in with them, it was given the mom wanted that for sure. But maybe she was trying to do something with, like I said, they were Dominican. They had their own, she was not religious. I believe she used to listen like to gospel every now and then because I used to hear her music in her room. But maybe she just wanted me to stay there and she wanted stuff to go a certain way. Like, well, both of y'all get in school. and then you start working here, then we get it. Maybe she just had a plan that, but wasn't, she never said it, right? But all in all, it was given like I didn't know. It wasn't making any sense to me. It didn't make sense to me. It was just like, you not working. We know what I'm doing for my money as far as stripping at the club. Your mom is the only one working. And they weren't poor and they definitely weren't wealthy. They were like, but it was love. I guess she was doing all of that out of love. So anyway, she used to have to snap on him sometimes because he used to love doing that shit. And I don't know why. Like, I guess it's clues in the stuff that I don't really know much about, but don't want to dig deep in. That's where the clues is at. And I'm hearing like pretty much him loving, he used to love to joke with that shit. And when she would get serious, that's when his ass would start busting out laughing. But he would be like, I'm about to go tell my mama you pregnant. Like right after we do something or something like that. Cause he did used to pull out or try to, and a few times he couldn't. TMI, TMI, TMI. But he used to like get up and he used to be like, and I used to be pulling him like, man, stop doing that, no. And he's like looking at me like alone, like a serious look. Like when I tell y'all a lot of shit didn't make sense back then, but it just was kind of, it was so annoying. Like some of the stuff he used to do, I ain't gonna lie, like even though I miss this person, and it's a misconnection, and it's not like I don't date people like my religion, I can't, like it's not like, oh, I miss him, like, oh, somebody bring him in my life. No, hell no. I probably wouldn't even have a conversation with this person. That's probably why I'm so comfortable talking about it now. And it's not to say I'm shy like that, like I always move like that, where it's like I'll be open with my homegirls or other people about some shit. But if it came to them coming to me like, what's up? I'll be like running, like literally taking off running, like hiding. I mean, to a certain extent, I've been like that. But in this case, that's not the case. It's just it would never happen again. But it could have after the situation went another way. But obviously, he was that hurt behind me getting pregnant and having another baby with somebody else, to the point where it's like, where other dudes that have a baby with you still, like you already got kids. He was like, man, no, that was just supposed to be, was just supposed to be mine. My mama knew, like, and when I tell y'all, I just figured it out. That's why I made a live stream. I literally just figured it out, because for the longest, I was like, when I tell y'all, I couldn't find him on Facebook. I never found him again. After I got with my first baby daddy, the nigga that swear he was just some Rasta, some rude boy, some Jamaican East Side thug. My oldest son is adopted. Before that situation, you gotta think about it. I didn't have no kids, and like a lot of niggas, I don't know what that is, but a lot of niggas want you to be like their first baby mom. Like they want you to be the one that they have kids with first, right? And so technically, my current, well, not current, but my second baby daddy, my last baby daddy, I guess in his eyes, he felt like that was the case because my oldest son was adopted. Clearly, that's a situation that no matter what I did, he wouldn't have to worry about that child. So he didn't really care about it. Me saying, yeah, I got a son, but he's adopted. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like with the situation with Trey, that's not his real name, y'all. I feel like the situation with Trey was, man, you had no nigga nutting in you. Had no, well, not that he knew of it. Had no nigga got you pregnant. You know what I'm saying? You was supposed to have my first child. You was supposed to be mine, like my baby mama. And because, like I said, my life moves so fast, and when people is watching you, trafficking you, when all of that type of stuff is happening, it's no way that you can even see everything. People manipulating stuff, people watching you, people purposely breaking relationships up, people trying to, manipulate you. You don't see it from other people's perspective. But I seen it from his perspective finally, and it gave me some closure. Now that I really had the time to think, like, if you was really rocking with a nigga, especially that young, if you was rocking with a nigga like that, bitch, with his mama, like, you spending the night over there, he in their house, like, she lives there, he lives with his mom. Of course, obviously he came out and told me, it's not that I'm slow. Obviously he said, I want to have a daughter, I want to have a little girl together. But obviously his mom knew, like, even the stuff that he wasn't saying to me, like, that's the one, mom, like, I love her. I want a family with her, and I want you to meet her, shit, way before I even met them. Because that's the only thing that makes sense to me with the way shit was going. So obviously, if that was the case, he was hurt when I got pregnant by the East Side thug nigga. Because, like I said, he was standing on the East Side, but he was from the Dominican Republic. They even have pictures where they vacate there. They visit there all the time. Their grandmother was still living over there. And pictures of him as a kid in the Dominican Republic, all that shit. And so, yeah, the situation that happened with, the dude I ended up getting pregnant with, having my first son with, like, that's another story time, y'all. If I get to like at least 800 subscribers, I might drop that story time about my East Side boyfriend that I ended up having my first son with. Cause that shit, I feel like it was definitely magic. And some of y'all younger girls, y'all need to be up on where people can put roots on you by smoking with them. All right. And I'm not saying it's exactly what he did, but I'm just saying what made me like see him in a way that I hadn't been seeing that nigga. I feel like he did something. He manipulated something because, first of all, I didn't. Yeah, we're gonna make a story time about that. We're not gonna make this about that, okay? But I did have love for him. I did love him to a certain extent, but I just feel like he did something to come in between me and Trey because he used to accuse me after the nigga had won me over and I was fully in love with him. He used to fucking accuse me of still dealing with Trey, and I said to him like, I haven't even heard from Trey. Like, I went by Trey house a couple times. His mom said he wasn't there or nobody answered the door and stuff like that. I don't talk to Trey anymore. What are you talking about? I was really with my homegirl. Like, he was real insecure about me and Trey, and I didn't understand why, right? So that's another story time for another day. So back to Trey. Back to Trey. So he kept trying to force that shit, and he would go and I don't know if he was doing this because he started thinking to himself, like, all my fellas, like, you can comment and let me know I'm not a dude. I don't have a, you know what, so I don't know. But maybe he kept wanting, telling his mom, like, prank her, talking about I was pregnant because he started feeling like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep, you know what I'm talking about? Like, to keep it from happening. I don't know. But I was like, why he keep playing like that? Like, stop doing this shit, right? And always trying to check to see if my period came out. Like, did you get your period? Did you get your period? Did you get your period? Like, always asking me that. Did you get your period? Did you get your period? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And so them little 4 months felt like forever, y'all. When I tell you, he would go in there, it would be the same routine. Oh, I'm gonna prank my mom, and if she asks, you say yeah. And he would be like, Mom, I got something to tell you. She's pregnant. And at first, his mom wouldn't seem like she was too mad or upset. She just was like, well, y'all got stuff y'all need to start working on. Like, and then the more and more she would be like, stop playing. Are you serious? Is that girl pregnant? Like, whatever her accent, I can't do it, y'all. Like, she would like get serious after a while and look back and forth at me and him smiling a little bit, and then she would start getting serious. Like, no, I'm serious. I almost say his name. I'm serious, Trey. I already told you. Da da da. Da. He like, I'm serious too, Mom. Like, yeah, she pregnant. How many months? You say 2 months? Yeah, she's 2 months pregnant. I'm serious. And eventually she would just like stop playing with him, like snap. Like, you don't have the money for that. Da 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 da. Y'all need to get on y'all feet first. Da 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 da. Right? And he'd start laughing, laughing real hard and shit like that. Like, okay, I'm just playing. She not pregnant. So our situation went from that to, like I said, you had my baby daddy ended up getting me pregnant with the dreads that sold drugs. They literally on the same floor as me in the apartment building across from my apartment. You had that situation happening, but I really wasn't. I would only feel him because like he would get me high as fuck, and I didn't smoke like that. Like, I'm trying not to go into that story time, but it would be that, and then it would just be, I don't know, just something else energetically that he was doing, and then Trey, I would leave Trey hanging sometimes, like. And so we had one badass argument about that shit one night when I went over there, and we fucked his room up. Like, we was like fighting, but not like him beating my ass and no shit, like just throwing me around and shit. And him just kind of being like, man, what nigga, bro? What nigga did I? He had like a little gun and threatened like he gonna kill the nigga. Like, man, what nigga is it, bro? That's why I told you I don't want you outside. I don't want you around these niggas, all this other shit, right? That was like, I will never forget out of all the little altercations, that was that one bad argument right before we just broke it off, where he started talking crazy, and I believed him. Like, he was really like drinking and talking like he was gonna kill the nigga or whatever, unalive. And so I ain't gonna lie, it was a moment where I was just like thinking to myself, like, what did I get myself into? Because that dude, I gotta see him, when I go in my apartment building and I'll get my weed from him, and my sister be letting him over there smoking with him. I don't know. And then Trey is not playing. No matter how much I'm laughing and I seeing the seriousness of this shit, Trey's serious when he say he you know, and so fuck, like, what do I do? Like, it was at that moment, you know, where I realized, because he was like fucking his furniture up in his room, like breaking the dressers and the walls and shit. Like, it was bad, y'all. So that's when, I don't know. I think it was his, yeah. That's why I stopped liking that nigga. It was his best friend, the Brooklyn or New York nigga. He ran back and told him that the dude that ended up being my baby daddy had been spinning out over my house, and that we had been dealing with each other, and pretty much my bad, y'all. So pretty much, like, I believe it was his best friend that ran and told him a bunch of stuff, because it was like one day I came over there and he didn't want to let me in the apartment. And no. When I was leaving, he said that shit about, and I'm gonna go get tested or some shit like that. And he was looking kind of, you know, you hurt somebody that you love and make you want to cry. Like, yeah. But anyway, that was when I was leaving one day. He said that shit. But I went over there one day and the friend was in there and he didn't tell him to leave. That's when I knew something was off, right? And so the energy was off. He was acting off. You know, he wasn't like all over me how he normally used to be, like with his arms wrapped around my waist and holding me and want me to sit on his lap. It wasn't none of that. And I ain't know why the fuck he was acting weird. And so I was like, can you come in the room? Come in the room real quick. Or I went in his room and I called him back there because I was 18. So it wasn't giving like grown woman like attitude handling stuff, you know? Damn near still a child. So I go in his room. I think I took off like some of my clothes or something like that and laid in the bed or whatever and started going through the TV or something. He's giving that type of energy. And I call him. I kept calling him to come in there. And he would like sit on the bed and just, he wasn't like acting how he normally would act. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why is you acting like that? And pretty much he just let it all out. He was like, why you didn't tell me that you had a boyfriend? And I was like, what are you talking about? Why you acting childish? He was like, why you didn't tell me that you with dude? The dope boy, the weed dude, whatever. And I was like, because I'm not. He kept asking me to smoke it. And this is the shit I'm talking about, Honey Tribe, when with the peer pressure, when you don't have a father figure, right? So everything he was saying let me know that the friend had to been stalking me or something and told him all that, because there's no way he would have known that. So I kind of start crying a little bit, and I was being honest with him. I was like, man, I do not want that dude. Like, it's nothing like that. I buy weed from him. He was like, but I told you stop fucking smoking weed too. Like, why you smoking weed so fucking much? Was you a junkie? Like, he really, like, that nigga really went off on me, y'all. Like, ooh. So anyway, he like mad about that. Then he's like, and he never liked the play sister that I was staying with, the other girl. He didn't like her at all. But he was like, I told you not to be smoking weed. Why you smoking weed? Why you buying weed from him? And I told you that was gonna happen with one of these dudes or something like that. But had you been over here, see, that's when I feel like he started to believe me, like my side of the story, because he was already irritated by everything that his friend had told him. But once I told him my side, I did see him like calming down and like breathing a little bit more, deeply and calm more. And then I feel like his mind was still made up, but he said you could tell that like what he reasoned with, he said, and that's why I told you to stay over here. That's why I told you to move in with me. That's why I told you to spend the night, stay here, right? And that was just pretty much the end of it, y'all. That was the end of that situation. Like, And that's how I found out. And I got into it with the friend too. I was like, yo, stupid ass. He was like, don't get mad at him. Don't get mad at him for telling me. Yeah, that's my partner. That's my homeboy. Don't get mad at him for telling me. He was telling me what you was doing. He's like, and I ain't gonna call you out your name because I love you and I know you not like that, but you don't listen, bro. You like you don't listen. You don't listen. Like he was just acting crazy and shit like that. So pretty much, I think he played on my phone for like a good week or two after that. Then he finally stopped because, you know, the other situation was just, he had taken over. Like, always at my house, always, you know, that whole situation, right? So, yeah, like, he played on my phone, him and his friend, they played on my phone and popped up over my apartment for maybe like a good week or two. And once cause I like, I'm already young, I'm easily manipulated. And after he had said that part, I'm sure it hurt. Same with my boyfriend before that. I'm sure my feelings was hurt, but it's just like one shark after another. Like it was just so many different situations swallowing me up. Like I couldn't even grieve him or that situation. So to him from the outside, it probably looked like I just didn't want to even be with him no more. I really wanted the other dude, and that wasn't even the case. And so, like, I do remember him playing on my, I'm like, who is this? Like, calling me from, I guess, his friend phone or other people's number and asking me dumb questions and, you know, stuff that didn't make sense to me, where I just really started seeing his age and shit, or I guess, or should I say how he was dealing with the situation. But it was just a whole different speed going on at my crib with my play sister and, you know, the dude that we weren't even in a relationship. I just ended up getting pregnant by that nigga. Like, but once I got pregnant by him, it was, I guess you could say it was a relationship because we was always walking together places. I was pregnant, you know, I was showing, the whole neighborhood was calling me his name, baby mama. So yeah, it just, once that happened, like even before the pregnancy, like once, you know, me and him was dealing with each other like that, I never even had the time to really think about, oh, there we go. Thank you, Spirit. I can end this out by saying the dude, the drug dealer boyfriend, Dread dude, he told me if he seen me with him, he would kill me, or he would, yeah, he threatened me something serious. It wasn't just, no, I'm gonna slap you, I'm gonna beat you. It was something serious, right? And in his apartment, they had guns like all leaning against the wall and shit that was big, like the size of my height. And I swear to God on my kids, I do remember him constantly threatening me, like, I don't want to see him around here. I don't want to see you talking to him. I don't want to see, and I took it serious. I was scared. On top of that, you know, it wasn't even just the fear that made me be like, oh, damn, I'm not going to be able to see Trey no more. But obviously, he had kind of like taken over the situation. He was always over there. Uh, you know, I was always with him, smoking with him, you know, and then he kind of was pushing the stripping shit. So, you know, if I didn't have the bar fee money where I wouldn't just go, like if I didn't have the bar fee money to go dance at my job, because I was like, I worked there. You had girls that would come from out of town and work there on weekends, but I worked, that was like, I was one of the people that was employed there. So anyway, if I didn't have my bar fee that night, I just was like, well, I can't go to work tonight. And he would give me the bar fee, you know. He would be like, well, you gonna pay me back, right? Because I need this for my re-up money, or you think you give me extra if you make extra or whatever. So it was like he was pushing that. He was like completely opposite from Trey. So, but I was young. I was 18. I was a child. So I wasn't able to see what was happening and what's the word? And like discern the difference. That ain't even what I'm looking for, the term, but I didn't see what was going on, to say the least. So, that's pretty much how stuff was going. Like he was kind of like encouraging it, like influencing it. Like yeah, do that. Yeah. My ex used to do that. Da, 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 da. Shit like that. Now the pregnancy stuff, he wasn't pushing that, but he was just pushing more so like, I want you to be my bitch, right? My girlfriend, my bitch, whatever like that. And if it happened, it happened. But that's not something that I'm thirsty for it to happen because I already got a child, right? And I know how hard this shit is and da da da. But you younger than me, this is what I want. I want a bitch because like I said, I was 6, not 2, not 1, not 3. I was 6 fucking years younger than this guy. This dude was 25, I was 18. Okay? So, or 24 and I was 18. Either way, it was a 5 to 6 year age gap. And I feel like what his intentions was, no, I'm not rushing us having no baby. I already got a daughter. You know what I'm saying? I already got a child already, and I already know how ugly that shit get quick. I already know, I want to enjoy you. You're not pregnant, you ain't got morning sickness. I ain't got to worry about, you having to bounce back from the pregnancy. I just want, what I'm saying? You young, I want to mold you. I want you to be how I want to be. I want you to be what I want you to be for me. Hold me down, be my ride or die while I'm in and out of jail. Like, it's giving that type of energy. And then when I get my bag how I want it to, then we have a baby and we do, you know what I'm saying? But for right now, I just want people to know that you're my girlfriend. I want people to, everybody to know. So even like, for example, and I know he was doing that shit because I cannot tell y'all how many times there was a situation where it might have been a nigga fine as, I'm talking about fine as fuck, fresh as fuck. And me and my play sister, we might just be out that night coming from the club because every now and then I would talk her into dancing with me. Or I might just be with some other bitches that dance or something. And I might say something to them, or they, not literally, but like us end up having a conversation, or maybe they start trying to talk to my homegirls, everybody but me. And then they already was, like, I didn't know my baby daddy was known around there like that back then. Like, I feel like maybe he fell off now. I don't know what he got going on. But then I just knew him from how I knew him. I didn't know his reputation or I ain't know nothing about none of that. So I would always have to find out from other dudes that, my homegirls was dealing with, or that I was dealing with because I'm buying weed from them, or, because now my baby daddy is on another side of town, or in, Scottsdale or wherever else the fuck. Because he didn't just sit in the house, or just, especially once he felt like he had me locked down, he wasn't just up under me like that. That was something that, I would be calling and be like, you coming back? Da, 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 da. And then he'd be like, yeah, he'd come in. And it's like he had to do his big one, like make sure he dressed a certain way. Like, it was just, like when I tell y'all, when I do that story time, I'm going to tell you, like, niggas, whether they knew it or not, or even some that did know, women ain't the only people that done, like, tempered and dealt with energies and stuff to get stuff to be a certain way how they wanted to. Just know that I know this shit, and I feel like it backfired. I definitely feel like it backfired, and that even though I'm not saying that my son should have ended up with the people that he's with, okay? Hell no. But I feel like God didn't want some sort of life that he was trying to force on me. Like, you gonna be my baby mama. You gonna be down with this shit with me out here on the, I feel like, because he was very abusive. I found that out later on in the situation. Nigga took the whole hinges off of my door of my apartment. He would have beat the fuck out of me if I didn't run. He was one of them people, like, I knew because of like little stuff he did. Like, there was a time, and you could tell, like, as I've gotten older, and I would literally think about some of the stuff that he did, premeditated would come out. I'd be like, he had thought about that shit like days, like a long time ago before he even fucking did it, right? And it would hurt my feelings so fucking bad when he did it. Like, this one situation, y'all, I never forgot it. I was chilling in his house, it was like a trap house, right? Because he was like 2 or 3 other dudes that lived there, but they all sold drugs. They had guns everywhere, drugs everywhere, scales, all that shit. So I'm over there with him, and we sitting in like the front room where, they, I guess, entertain their guests and shit. We used to go in his bedroom too and shit, but I really wasn't comfortable in there because his room wasn't like mine, if you get what I'm saying. So, I mean, it wasn't dirty and nasty, but you know what I'm trying to say. So anyway, we sitting in there in the chairs, and it was something that was said or done or something, but I was laughing about it. That's why older niggas don't always need to seek younger girls. If you're not gonna, beyond the sex part, if you're not gonna be able to accept that this person's brain is also young, that they're gonna process and deal with stuff, you're not trying to really be on that young shit. Don't date nobody younger. You women that like younger niggas and men that like younger women, because that shit is gonna come with it. So anyway, this is a prime example of that. So I was laughing about something, right? Because me and my homegirl, we was real silly. Like, we started like laugh about a lot of different stuff. And when I say that nigga took one of the legs of the bottom of the chair that I was sitting in and just pulled it up for me, like flipped it, and I fell out the fucking chair. And then he threw the chair down and was like, "So told you stop fucking laughing, playing too fucking much," or something like that. When I say I immediately got up and just went home. And I think I cried. That shit hurt my little 18-year-old feeling so fucking bad. And as usual with abusers, they try to come in with, they give you something, or they got like this long drawn out story. And in my situation, it was like, he was talking about how he was on a beam. He said he was rolling, and he apologized because when he's on ecstasy, he's like, yeah, I took like 6 or 7. Everything about him, as I got older and I thought about it, it always gave premeditated. Like he was a master manipulator. He used to think about shit, how he was gonna do shit based off knowing. And something else Spirit showed me, he liked dealing with girls younger than him because he felt like they were easy to manipulate. And I feel like he would have been able to really, really like, God just wanted me out of that situation. So when after he did that, and I went home crying, and I blocked his number. He kept calling me back to back to back to back, knocking on the door. I didn't want to do with him after that. Like, I was real upset, right? I want to say either later that night or the next day, because I couldn't stay away that long. So either later on that night or the next day, he reached out to me, and he was like, "Can we talk?" It's like he knew he was gonna have to go slow because he had already hurt my feelings. Like, just a manipulator, like knowing that the bitch 18 young, she just sick, right? So he was like, "Can we talk?" And I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, 5 minutes or something like that. Like, really, really did not want to talk to him. So I let him in. We talking in the living room. And so he's like huffing and puffing, putting on his act. Like, when I tell y'all, I'm going to say this nigga named Steven, a real demon. Like, a real fucking manipulating, like, had me wrapped around his fucking finger. Like, bro, I am good on Sagittarius men. Like, I'm so fucking good on Sag niggas and they manipulative ways. So anyway, he's had us like this low, like not literally being a white boy, but just sick. Like, thinking you so swagged up. Y'all know them type of hood ass black people that sometimes can turn on that white shit. But it's not like you trying to be a white person at all. It's not giving that. It's like you're a sick person, if you know what we mean when we like that sick. So anyway, he'll be like, I fucked up. Like, rubbing his hands through his dress, how white people do in the movie when they stressed out. Like that. But the nigga bitch wasn't nothing white or preppy or none of that about this nigga, if you know who the fuck I'm talking about. So he was like, yeah, so baby. Can't even believe I got the sound, the voice still down pat. This is sad as hell. So yeah, he'll be like, yeah, babe, so I know you don't want to hear what I gotta say right now, but shit, just hear me out. Anybody that know this nigga, you know I'm not capping right now. So I'm listening, but yeah, we need to just take a break. No, it ain't even that. Just hear me out. So shit, he'll bring one of his friends up, always needing to put something off on somebody else. So we had goddamn shit. We had to do this play or whatever. So I had to I was on like 5 or 6 beans, babe. And you kept going. That shit was irritating me. So I know I shouldn't have flipped the chair over and shit like that. It wasn't even like that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I was rolling. I was on, fucking pot. Let me show you the beans right here. See, I took 5 or 6 of these motherfuckers, right? Trying to make me feel like I overreacted or that it was just all just a simple mistake. Like, it just, you know? So shit like that used to, he's like, and this didn't go on long. God did not want me dealing with that. Which y'all think I did? I let him back in. I took him back after he did that to me. I don't give a fuck what you was rolling on, popping. There's no excuse for that shit. I didn't break nothing, disrespect you, nothing. I was just laughing and you flipped me out of my fucking chair, nigga. Are you crazy? So anyway, I took him back. He swore up and down he was so sorry, getting on his knees, or putting his arms around my waist and all of that stupid shit. Like, babe, I love you, babe, I miss you, da da da. I was on these pills. Took him back, y'all. And it was just little stuff like that I kept ignoring the red flags to the point where, and so I brought that example up so you could see what I meant by I ran from him when he got too mad, because it was stuff like that he had already did that showed me how dangerous he was. Okay? Nigga used to threaten to shoot me in my face. I had never dated no nigga before him that threatened me with stuff like that. And the way that shit used to just kind of like at 18, the way it used to make me feel like, this the same nigga that we was just making love, and one little simple argument or me not answering my fucking phone, bro. Like, that's another thing I'm leaving out about this sicko, and this ain't even part of the fucking the story time I'm gonna do about him. This is why I forgot about Trey, because this is what I had been dealing with. This is what had happened, right? I got accused. Like, he did catch me doing something. He was always going, like, he went through my phone one day. Y'all was in a deep fucking sleep, bro. And I was so tired. And this nigga went through my phone and kicked my bed. That's how he woke me up. And then he was just reading off everything that he had read in the text messages, bro. So I was with him when I first got into that lifestyle, if you know what I mean. Because I told y'all, like, when I dated my first boyfriend, who well, he wasn't my first boyfriend, but when I first started dancing, and then Trey, that little small short time frame that we was talking, I had never. And so when I got with, and I guess that might have been his karma, I don't know, but when I was with the dread dude that I ended up having a son with, he the one that kept pushing the stripping stuff. So anyway, being forced, pushed into that, about the money, I start hanging with other girls. I start being around other girls, other females that's like that. And so, they introduced me to some stuff, and that's when it actually started to happen. It was not with Trey, and it was not with Tamarcus, which his name rhymes with that. It was not with them or anybody before them. Like, anybody that I was in a relationship before them, it was never. So this happened once I got with Steven. So, y'all, when I tell y'all that situation right there, just it scarred me for a little while, because he, like, who does it? Like, he went through my phone while I'm in a deep ass sleep, y'all. And he's like reading off the stuff. Meet me in door such and such. Bring a condom. Like, he was reading the shit out loud, mad. And though he broke so much stuff, threw so much stuff around in my apartment, and then slammed my door so hard and left. And I was just sitting there in the middle of my floor crying like a baby, like, like that, right? My homegirl, she came in there and just was hugging on me and was like, damn, sis. My other little homegirls was like, girl, you need to leave him alone. That nigga crazy, da-da-da. But even before that, just showing you how he used to be in my phone and stuff, like, y'all, even before that situation, I told you how he was always accusing me of dealing with Trey, and I wasn't even dealing with Trey. He was so insecure about me and Trey little relationship. It was always scenarios to where, like, if I'm out with my homegirl and we not dancing, we not doing nothing, we not having sex, we not doing nothing like that. It's innocent. We could be with her mom, and her mom grocery shopping for 4th of July food or something like innocent shit. But my phone went dead. Bro, do you know I would charge my phone up and call this man, and he would be screaming, irate. And I think this is what led him to having to admit to me that he did cocaine. All of that's gonna be in the story time. I'm not gonna talk about that right now. He will be so fucking irate, bro. You a stupid ass bitch. I'm gonna kill you, bitch. Like, going off on me, y'all. Talking about he gonna shoot me in my face, that I'm with a nigga if I give him a disease, da 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 da. All this weird ass shit, bro. And I just used to remember thinking, like, wait a minute, why the fuck, like, what did I get myself into? Because he always would know what to say and how to get me back. And it's like, really, like, now, where I am now, all the self-love and work I done did on myself, it's like, bitch, I'm trying to figure out, like, there should have been nothing, not even offering $1 million, bitch. There should have been nothing that nigga could do or say to come back after he was acting like that. But, and that's something else I need to do a reading on. Maybe he was doing some type, I don't know. But it's like, when he would face me, he would have his hands in his pocket, and, like, how people stand up on their tippy toes and be back on their heels and back on their tippy toe doing that little thing. He would do that. He would kind of be looking a certain way. Like, he just, I don't know what that meant. Like just giving me this look like, come on, you want me back in. You want to take me back. Like, that I'm older. You like that I'm older than you. It was just something, y'all. And besides that little look, and then holding his head down and then looking at me through his eyes, like, how you hold your head down but you looking up. You know that thing I'm talking about. He's like, you want to talk to me? Like, he would do that shit a lot. And then I guess he felt like he was too player, too east side, too Scott, I don't know, too big. So he didn't really do that, but he would do other stuff, like clap his hands back and forth. You know that thing that dudes do, and then, like, throw his dreads back and be saying some shit like, just he was just manipulative, y'all. Like, this nigga might have the nerve to bring up the Bible. Like, he might say something like, you need to forgive me, or Just hear me out for 2 minutes. Like stuff, he would manipulate me. And so we'd be in my apartment talking again. And then one day he admitted it. He was like, all right, I do coke. And I was thinking to myself, what the fuck else, bro? Like, this man got so much different deal breakers. Like, man, no, and it was in moments where sometimes I'd be like, man, Trey. Y'all, I'm not gonna say the dude's real name, but it rhymes with, like, you know how you have Larvin Gaye? Like, yeah, okay. So that's why I'm saying Trey, because I can't think of nothing else. But yeah, I would be thinking like, oh my God, this nigga smoke hella, he do fucking cocaine. Does the nigga do crack too? Like, it was just so much, y'all. So anyway, that's why, and so that's why me and, I kind of like I stopped thinking about Trey. I wasn't thinking about Trey, all that type of stuff. I'm gonna make me some hot dogs and chips, y'all. But that's the end of it. And I feel like that misconnection happened. Oh, I thought they said an hour and 50 minutes. Okay. Which I think it's almost 2 hours. So I'm ending this live stream here by y'all. I would love to hear other people's misconnection stories. It's 8 something, like I said, Friday and Saturday is like my little day off from doing work and, my weekly routine and schedule that I'm on. Okay, some stuff I still do, obviously. But it's just like more of a chill day for me. So I ain't stressing it, I ain't tripping it or whatever, with the schedule and everything. And y'all shouldn't either if you have your days of the week that you like to just, relax and take stuff slow or whatever. Plus I'm a night owl. Like, I stayed up till like 7 and 8 in the morning or something last night, playing Candy Crush and all of that. So anyway, yeah. I feel like I got closure now because I used to really wonder about that. Like, something inside of me told me that he made it to where I couldn't cross paths with him again, or something deep inside of me. My intuition was telling me like he pretty much had something to do with why. You know what I'm saying? Why I hadn't seen him or heard from him. Because he definitely knew my whole name, even though I used to go by Mariah back then. Like, even the dude that ended up getting me pregnant, the dread dude, he got mad when it's my some who the fuck is Mariah when he found out that my first name was Crystal. But it wasn't nothing like that. I just gave him that name. No, I used to literally go by Mariah a lot back then. And so same thing with the Trey dude. Like, he used to call me Mariah. Mariah. That's what he used to call me. He's like, we're gonna name our daughter Mariah and all of that. So that being said, I just feel like the closure I got with that misconnection, y'all, was, and I want to know what y'all think that listen to this live stream playback. I believe that, and if you say something stupid, I'm just gonna fucking delete your comment, you fucking idiot. So I believe that I pretty much believe that his feelings was hurt by him thinking that I wanted to move on it quick. That I wanted to do selling drugs that was way older than me, a dude that had dreads. Like, I see it from a different perspective now. But because I was so innocent in the situation and that's not really what was going on, I was confused. I was like, as big as I know I am on social media, why haven't I heard anything? Why haven't I never got a friend request from this guy? Like, something is not right. Like, what the fuck? And so that's what I think it was. I think he just was confused and hurt as well at the fact that that I got pregnant by this guy. And then, like I told y'all the story, clearly that sounds like he wanted me to have, he wanted to give me my first child. He didn't want me to go get pregnant by somebody else. He was like, this, you gonna have my baby, not nobody else's first or at all. And so I think I believe, he's from the Dominican Republic, from his stories about high school and all that other type of stuff, I feel like pretty much he was still somewhat connected enough to have heard that I got pregnant, for sure. And yeah, I just, I don't know much about like how guys handle emotional situations like that. But from what I do know, I guess that's a sign that he took it hard, because he didn't come around. Like I said, I don't know if my baby daddy threatened him too, because I told y'all I didn't know like his reputation like that either until we was dating, and I would have to find out from other dudes. Like they'll be trying to holler at my homegirls, or I might compliment them on something, or you know, and they would be like, "Man, you old." They would be like, "Man, you such and such girlfriend, and you such and such baby mama." And I would just stop and think to myself, "How the fuck he know? How does he know that?" Like, and then slowly but surely, I start finding out that a lot of people knew him or bought drugs from him around there, and I didn't know that. So, y'all, that's it. I got my closure. I just want to hear y'all stories. But all in all, do y'all have any like misconnections? Do y'all have friends or relationships, um, or like situations that you've had with people where you hit it off real good with them, and y'all was vibing, even if it was just a girl you met one night? I would love to hear these type of stories. I love these type of stories, y'all. If y'all do and y'all make one, comment down below in my comments with the link to the videos so that I can go watch them. I will binge watch them fucking videos all night. But if you, all my kids, I'm telling you, if you make up a story that's just so corny, please make sure that it's a real fucking misconnection. Don't make me listen to something that's not even real. I'm not that fucking bored. I'll never be that bored. If I want to listen to something fake, I'll just go watch a movie or some shit. All right. So I just want to hear real misconnection stories or nothing at all. Okay. So, but y'all should have some. Everybody should have at least one misconnection where you met somebody. Like I said again, it don't have to be a relationship that you had with them. It could just be somebody that you got along with real good at your job, or a cashier, or somebody that you met at a house party, anything. And you literally like, it's not a misconnection if you seen them a year later or a couple years like it has to be a situation where you never seen them again, or you didn't see them again for like a good 5-10 years or something like that. That's the only thing that would make it a misconnection. So I want to hear y'all. These things been doing this lately. um I want to hear y'all stories. So if you make a video about it, or you got a TikTok about it, open it for me, and you got a TikTok about it, please link the information in the comments, and I'm gonna go look at it. But like I told y'all earlier, wake this misconnection shit up, because like I can't be the only one to be like, damn, I wonder what happened to that person. I wonder how they doing. Did they move to another country? Did they die? Did they go to prison? Like, what the fuck? All right, so that's it for now, honey tribe. I don't know if I'm gonna come back this weekend and do another live stream. If I do, it'll probably be about some music or something like that. But until I come back, y'all, peace.